While all progress necessitates change, what's important is that all change does not lead to progress. And that's what creates a sense of anxiety, ambiguity, and apprehension in the environment today, in the education environment today, as we try and understand the implications, the challenges, and the solutions of what is turning out to be a new normal. We anticipate, we assume, and we analyze. In our candid COVID classrooms on edumate.tv, where we bring together the ecosphere of parents, students, teachers, principals, vice chancellors in the higher education realm, government, bureaucrats. And I develop a white paper to present to the government at the end of about 90 days from now as a precursor to what could be the way forward. And how do we meet and greet the new normal? This program is brought to you by edumate.tv. It's produced by Education, which looks at education ahead, and it's very specially powered by the Royal Global University. Now, this country has been divided. It's been divided often. Caste, creed, color, religion. But now, the more sinister divide is on the cards, and that is the digital divide. And that will be our topic of discussion with a very esteemed set of panelists in a very special webinar, a very special new normal. So who are these very special guests? Top story remains on the very sinister development of a digital divide in this country. And we get opening comments from each of you, starting with a very special guest, Dr. S.P. Singh, the Vice Chancellor of the Royal Global University. I would request each of you to keep your opening comments to about 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that, and then we'll go on to the more detailed aspects of the digital divide. My question to you, Dr. Singh, just the way this country had an institution and the constitution which says that free and compulsory education needs to be given to every citizen to the age of 16. Then there have been promises by every single government of providing roti, kapda or makan to every single citizen of this country. It's been a bit of a far cry, but that's been the thought process. Why should we not add the digital connectivity to those three essentials? Your take, sir.
Chetan, you are very right on the approach of free and compulsory education to each and every child, and inclusion of digital platform or maybe digital accessibility to each and every child of this country, maybe of any age. And I think Government of India from a very, very long time is trying its level best to make each and every child accessible to internet connectivity. As far as providing the infrastructure is concerned, I think the government has come up with National Knowledge Network that was expected to provide, and then we have provide internet to each and every village, each and every place in this country, especially to all the educational institutions. Also, there's a connectivity issue though, but then each and every village has been provided e-Chaupal. If I'm not wrong, e-Chaupal was a concept where the village community was being provided with the internet and a computer. E-Chaupal was for the purpose of agriculture and other information to be given to the villagers of that particular village. But however, that e-Chaupal at many places has been used for some time, at least in Haryana and other places, for the connectivity with the students and teaching them. Right. That positive-minded people and others, they have taken this as a challenge, and they have gone to the villages, social distancing under the trees, through loudspeakers, through many modes. People are teaching, and the teachers staying in the village, they have collected 5-6 students with social distances. They have also started teaching whosoever was not having accessibility.
The question is very simple. You can divide, and you can be divided on opinions, but you cannot be divided on privileges and essentials in a democratic environment.
Schools like those are in the urban schools, especially the private schools, the students are lucky, they are privileged. but there is a large sector in the country, in the government sector, in the government schools, and others. They are definitely hampered. So this inequity is a matter of concern globally and more so in our country. But then I would also point out very quickly that only the technology approach to sort out this problem may not be a complete process or complete story. But then we have to now, probably the institutions, universities, colleges, we have to sit back and we have to try to, conform to whatever is available online, so that, the digital divide can be minimized by bringing in necessary changes to our syllabi and curriculum.
In this pandemic, there could have been a zero loss to education if regulators would not have acted, if they would have just kept silent. Their silence would have kept like we are eating food in this pandemic, there is zero impact on the food. Similarly, there could have been a zero impact on education if the regulators would not have interfered and education would have left to the teachers. Because I think a patient should be left to a doctor and students should be left to the teachers, not to the whole world. Now today, everybody is debating about it. How should education be done? Coming to the point, digital divide was there. Roti kapda makan divide was there. Digital divide is there. Mark my words, watch this program after 100 years. Digital divide will exist then also. So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to ban for the haves that you can't also have the online classes, which many states have done it? Parents are going to suffer, people who have and people who have not, right there. Digital divide will. So digital divide existed. I think it will exist in future also. The decision should be given to the teachers that how they remove this, and if this decision goes into the hands of the private school, more students will go for higher education. Currently, the number of students all over India ratio is pretty low. I think it's world's most lowest ranking. I think out of 150, India ranks around about 120 to 130 in terms of going from K-12 to the university level. This number will drastically improve.
Pradeep Narayanan is with us. Pradeep, you've seen education over the last 30 years from a variety of quarters. Talk us through, where do you see this divide heading? I think Kuldeep is absolutely bang on when he says the divide perhaps will continue for a while, but you cannot penalize those the haves for having what they do.
Reality is that we are suddenly making this as an issue because of the pandemic, and therefore suddenly everything got shut down. You needed some space, and therefore digital became the reason why something did not happen and something happened. So to me, I mean, like Kuldeep said, digital, the gap or the fact that it may not be available to everybody could be a truth even 70 years from now or 100 years from now, because just like electricity, even today there are villages in our country which does not have electricity, right? There are many places in our country which cannot be accessed by roads. So does it mean that's a divide and the rest of the country doesn't progress? The fact is, we will continue to progress. There will be some people who are, because of a quirk of fate or a lack of administration by the government, that they are left behind. But those are things which will happen. So there are various ways of solving the problem. We think internet is the only way. I don't think so. And I think there are many other possibilities. We just give ourselves the chances. Whether it is the loudspeaker, whether it is the radio or the TV, we have to give equality there, and we have to just see how well our educators are able to pick those ideas and use those to deliver quality and good content to the children, who in the process can make learning a good experience.
I think there's been consensus from all our special speakers to say that the power needs to be given to the teacher. The power needs to be given to the ground. And the teacher is led by the principal. So let's hear from each and every one of them as to what is their practical difficulties. That will be part one of the program, and then part two we'll go into a bit of solutioning.
In my terms, when we talk about digital divide, we are talking about two kinds of divides. Number one, we are talking about an economic divide, and then we are talking about an infrastructural divide. So as far as the economic divide is concerned, we already know that there are two kinds of students. in the present scenario, somebody who can afford and students who cannot afford due to economic reasons, due to geophysical reasons, due to many other reasons. Now, if you are to ask me, being the principal of Sarla Birla Gyan Jyoti, contrary to what Dr. Singh has told, we do have each and every student of us are in tune with the online process. So it is very important that now the government pitches in, they take a call. Probably I might be exceeding too far on saying this, but it's very important that they open a particular online cell.
Suppose there are two children who are studying in the same school, and suppose the online class is given from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. The two children cannot attend the class at the same time. And suppose they have to have separate smartphones. So sometimes it is difficult for the parents to provide that. And secondly, the smaller children knowledge about technical part, that is how to operate, how to bring it front. So like what I feel that first of all we have to train up them. If we can organize a training for the especially for the parents, so that we can tell them about the technical issues. Motivation is the big part for in this situation. Self-motivation is very much required. So what I started in my school, that morning when we start the class at 7 o'clock, from 7 o'clock to 7:30, our PhD teachers are offering the yoga classes, not for only the children, but for the parents also together. Children couldn't appear for the examination. So online such problem is there. So we have to have the proper network system there, so that because the children already went home and they're staying in different places and proper network is not available. Even though we are offering the classes, students are not always able to avail the classes.
Certain areas in Guwahati city does not have very good net connectivity. Therefore, students cannot log into a Zoom session or a Google Meet classroom. And they send us messages on WhatsApp saying that my bandwidth is very low, I'm not being able to access, so we have been facing this. I really feel that teachers, political leaders, community, most importantly, will have to come together, and maybe we can help one another. Somebody had earlier said that maybe the schools, who have internet connectivity 24/7 and who are doing well with their own students, maybe they can adopt a government school and provide similar facilities. We have also been receiving certain messages from parents that the Zoom sessions must be held only in the evening when they are around, because they do not like to leave the smartphone.
The need is totally different. If you see the need of lower classes, that is from class nursery to class 5, we are in a very bad position, because we simply don't teach. It's a package. In a school, it's a package. We take care of their behavior, we take care of their social skill, we take care of their emotional skill, we take care of their entire persona, we build them and we groom them. So definitely the lower classes, which is not happening, whether this online is for the first time is happening, absolutely no. Online is happening. I took up lots of online classes even before the COVID, but I am a grown-up lady. Now, if you consider that from class 6 onwards, they can handle the computer classes. Now, it depends on the quality of the online classes. We are a powerhouse. The teachers, the school, we enjoy power to control the students. Now, we must realize that we have handed over the power to the students. That powerhouse is the knowledge. They can choose the knowledge. They can choose the teacher. They can choose whether they want to be in the class or they don't want to be in the class. So definitely the attendance is low. In every school, if you ask them, the attendance is definitely low because of these reasons. Because they justify whether they should attend your class or they should not. If we are giving something very garbage, then they are not going to attend.
Online classes are going on and then teachers are taking very seriously, but sometimes students students are said physically, the teacher cannot in touch with the students. So whether the students are taking seriously the online class, or he's just passing the time, or he's doing some other thing, that is to be taken care by the parents.
Yes.
Parents, those who are working parents, they are not able to spare the time, so they're just leaving the mobile with the children. So that is another problem which will create. Supposing we are going on the online classes pretty long time, it may take to another problem. It may create another problem which we will not be able to solve. Now, like before the COVID-19 pandemic, we are not allowing a child to bring mobile.
Yes.
So whenever we find any child with a mobile, we call the parents. Don't send your son or daughter with a mobile. Now they have been habituated using of mobile. So this is why sometimes they may misuse the mobile, right, sir?
Yes.
So these are the problems we will be facing later on. Otherwise, of course, we are managing for the children, because we are for the children. Our lives are dedicated for the children. Teachers are dedicated for the children. So in this way, we are conducting the classes.
Royal Global University has been working very incisively. They anticipated this problem from day one, and they rejig their system very early. And we're going to gain from their insights and their experiences of Dr. Sanjay Pratap Singh and his team to see how these problems can be mitigated. And then we'll go on to each of you to find out your set of solutions. But first, a look at some of the interviews.
And what is it that's required to make our education system more skewed towards employability?
Many engineers who are employed, they are not employable. That means there is something wrong with our education system. So education has to be, the magic word is relevance. What you teach them, what they learn has to be relevant at that particular point of time.
How much do you think, I mean, you of course, you're a young minister yourself and you interact with the youth all the time. Where do you feel that their pain points are at this time?
We are still following the British system of education. Up to some extent it is right, but completely it may not be correct, because many of our young minds, our people are working in Houston, in NASA. Many are employed in other countries. So if we were to produce, our system is just to produce clerks, they would have not been working there. So that may not be completely correct, but change is the only permanent thing. So India is not behind. We are also, moving very far, very fast. I have a dream. You see, students, they go from the village to the city for studies. From the cities, they go to abroad. They go abroad for studies. Do you see anybody coming from abroad to study in the city, or anybody from the city to the village? No. Why? So my dream is, I would like to bring people from city for studies to the rural area and the village. That is my dream.
Royal Global University is your window to the world. See the transition in you through innovative pedagogy, state-of-the-art facilities, and experienced faculty. The leading university of Northeast India, we handhold you to stay inspired throughout your journey. Your intellect combined with our tutelage will pave a purpose to ideate and innovate. Spread across 27 acres, all schools are equipped with the finest state-of-the-art infrastructure. At Royal Global University, Guwahati, we nurture global citizens. Our placement support ensures quality career and a secured future. You dream, we deliver.
Professor Sanjay Pratap Singh, you saw this beautiful video of your college. In fact, I really wanted to get back to education once I saw that very scenic environment. Talk us through your university. What's the special USP of the Royal Global University? What is it that converts dream into reality, dream into deliverance?
Thank you so much, Chetan, again. As far as Royal Global University is concerned, other than infrastructure, that is very, very prominent and very well thought of. Our promoters were very kind. They were very generous in creating a very good infrastructure. I would say one of the best infrastructure I've seen in this country. I worked with many institutions. I was also the Vice Chancellor of MIT University, Chhattisgarh. So they have the best infrastructure. I mean, I would say better than many institutions in this country. Also, the intellectual capital, that is the most important part. And we are very, very fortunate that we are situated in Guwahati, very centrally located, opposite to Balaji Temple and ISBT. And our faculty members, I would say 60% of them are PhD holders and rest of them are net qualified. So we have the best of the faculty. Even I would say they are better than from my earlier institution where I worked. Second part is that our syllabus is not only related to hardcore core subject related. We are very, very concerned about the attitudinal part of the students. Behavioral science as a subject has been taught in each and every student across all the disciplines. An engineering student, if he is not having good attitude and behavior, I don't think so he can ever become a good engineer. Same way with all the schools. Second is about the communicative English. We are talking about digital divide. There's also a language divide. And we know very well. So communicative English is very, very important part, including pronunciation. So we have communication labs. We have full-fledged faculty to deliver in each and every semester 1 credit course for communicative English. It is not non-credit, it is a credit course. Third is very important about the sports infrastructure. We have the best sports infrastructure. So every student is being asked to join at least one sports. And recently we have organized North East Zone Inter-University Lawn Tennis Championship for women. And also we were about to organize All India Inter-University Baseball Tournament where I am also a baseball player. And I was trying to develop my team. Once I visited Sarla Birla also long back to coach the students of Sarla Birla. For the information of principal, I wanted to tell because I am in the Assam Baseball Association for that point of time. So sports is my hobby and I passionately feel, and most of the principals have already said that whatever we teach in the classroom is good enough, but maybe what we teach out of the classroom is more handy to them, and probably that makes them a better human being than what they study in the classrooms. One part I want to touch upon as far as the digital issues are concerned. For my student, I would say that I want to clarify also that not all my students are able to connect to us for the digital classrooms or maybe for online classes. But then my IT team is very, very vibrant. I would appreciate them here today, Chetan, that with the help of Vodafone, with the help of BSNL and Airtel, somehow or other, we have all these three vendors who are giving us internet connectivity. They were very, very fortunate. They were very helpful. We used to take address of each child because many of my ITs will appreciate this issue, and we tried to contact that particular tower from where the connectivity was going to those children, and we resolved the issue to the extent of 80%. So if 10% or 7% of students were not getting connected, so my IT team has gone behind the BSNL and these people. So this was something very great. And also about online exams, we have recently conducted class tests online. And I would tell each and everyone here that 95%, 93% of my students successfully have done 1 hour test by getting the paper online or by WhatsApp, writing it, scanning it, or taking a photo and sending it back. And my teachers are evaluating it. My continuous evaluation is complete, and hopefully we'll be able to complete the whole process by this month or maybe by next month. So this for Royal Global University was not a problem, but for all others also, I would say that there are a lot of possibilities. As my two eminent speakers have very clearly said, the digital divide will remain there for a longer duration of time. As a personal level, individual level, for student to student level, what best we can do as a teacher, we are very, very concerned about each and every child, and we should be. And therefore, if we do that, to all my principals and for I think all others also, if we are not been able to connect all, we can have some modus operandi to get them connected. If not connected, they have so many other ways to get them. And one aspect also, just generation divide, that mobile phone in the hand of a child is a generation divide. And there's also called behavioral divide. The divide, the two kinds of children. One who can study on their own and can develop themselves. And second is they need a regular mentoring and regular, teachers intervention. So that behavioral divide, that generation divide, that accessibility divide will remain. But as a teacher, I think we are very, very capable and we are very, very prominent and we are very, very quick in taking solutions and we are doing it.
Thank you for that sense of reassurance, Professor Singh. Thank you so much for that. We've noted down some of the solutions that you brought. I'll be taking a round of solutions from each and every one of our speakers. I think it was very insightful of you to mention two things. One was the English language, the communication, and second was sports, because the Northeast has been known for both of them. I mean, their contribution to sports in this country and the communication. In fact, they have been, in terms of English and the pronunciation of English and the usage and the correct grammar, has seen them get some of the best jobs across this country, particularly in the hotel industry, in the communication industry, even in media. So it's smart of you to do that. I think it's very relevant. And I congratulate educationists like yourself. I think, it's very important whenever we deal with this situation is A, to be relevant, B, to be responsive, and C, to be responsible. And you've shown each of those with flying colors. Thank you for that, Dr. Singh. Let's now go across to solutions. I'll give about a minute as a max to each of you, please, for the respective time, to come out with 3 solutions that you see to this digital imbroglio.
We have to, as we have been discussing, we have to consolidate, we have to strengthen whatever infrastructure digital we have in place. 2, we have to orient our teachers and also all other stakeholders like the parents as well in delivering our educational content to the digital mode. 3, I would say that community, we have to engage, we have to go for community engagement to bridge the divide. Community engagement in whatever way, we have to be very innovative and creative about it. And secondly, one of the most important issues of this digital divide is that it also the issue of the mental health of the students. So the issue of mental health has not been discussed, I think, today, but I think it is a very important issue. When we discuss about digital divide, we have to also think about the division between a healthy mind and an unhealthy mind. So I apprehend a lot of mental issues coming up in the foreseeable future. So these are the few things that I would very quickly suggest to you, that community engagement is very important. We can have very many non-government organizations also. You mentioned in the last interview about the PPP mode. The NGOs like Pratham can come and bridge the gap in a very big way.
Education is not all about employability. Somebody was mentioning before this. As schools, K-12 schools, our target is to give a good education. And then I think we leave it to, great universities like Royal Global University. They take it forward for employability purpose. We give, behavioral skills to students. And during these kinds of online education, somebody was mentioning about like no mobile, these are smartphones. The smart SMART. Smartphones have to be used smartly. We should know when to use it and when we should not use it. So we as teachers can guide our children when to use it. Also, what we can do with our students, all principals right here is, every year we have asked this question, what my child has learned in grade 9, what my child has learned in, let's say, grade 10. But this year we should ask this question, what will my child learn in grade 9 and 10th together? Now 2 years should be looked at as single year combined together, because this is completely #new norm, and this year will be completely new education. Let's leave education to educators, so that we can give students to the upcoming, the future, the best universities of India and outside India. That's our job right now. Digital divide will be there, but if you mandate it for government schools also, who are getting wonderful 7th pay commission salaries, they will go ahead and implement it. Every teacher can donate at least 10%. I'm talking about government school teachers, right? They can donate their 20-30% of their salary to buy an LED smart TV to their classroom, and then it will start immediately.
I was involved with an experiment called the hole in wall experiment, in which we put up a computer next to a slum area and allowed the children with a touchscreen monitor to play with it. They made their own solutions with it. They learned from it. They created their own discipline. Hundreds of children learned from it. So if you actually, at a community level, even if we were to donate, like Kuldeep said, may not be exactly in the same manner. I'm not too sure, as Chetan mentioned, that too many teachers will be happy donating. But if we can get the communities to have a single IT solution at the community level, we might get the digital divide reduced, may not be eliminated, and a good learning solution, but at least from the information perspective.
It's very, very important that we have an online cell. I did not mean a department altogether, but there must be dedicated people from the education industry, from the information broadcasting, from the ministry, so that whatsoever problems we are facing, not only schools and colleges, but it's like this, that almost everyone has gone online these days. Certain regulations are required, and it is only a dedicated group of people who would be serving in that cell, who could be the best people to disseminate this all over the country. The service providers or the vendors, they should think about manufacturing some dedicated and customized mobiles or iPads or iPods, which could be used exclusively by the children.
Yes,
so that the fear of handing over the mobile to a child and the parents are not in the at home, there's no such fear. These mobiles can be easily handed over to the children. These are my 3 points, sir.
I think each of them are very well accepted. It's a brilliant point, the last one particularly. You can have customized mobiles simply for education, which takes care of digital security. It just allows just that much of exposure, so there's no fear of that exposure.
When the Spanish flu or the influenza epidemic had broken out, there was no technology in those times, but schools continued to impart learning, although it was closed technically. So how did they manage? They used to send study material home to the children. So that can be one option. For areas where internet connectivity is not there, or students cannot access online education, I think it would be a good thing if study material can be sent home. Secondly, as Dr. Haldar has already said, customized pricing for phones, that's a brilliant idea. The Delhi government has recently distributed, I think, 17,000 tablets alone. So that is something very, very welcome. And thirdly, as I already said, it takes a village to raise a child once again. So the community, the policy leaders, teachers, and everybody who matters, the stakeholders, will have to come together to solve this problem.
And I think we all need to understand, and COVID is teaching us that life is simple, but we have complicated it and manipulated it. We need to get back and rewind. That's why I started my discussion by saying that we rewind. And the more we rewind, we will come out with simple solutions. Thank you for that.
What we are organizing in the school, like co-curricular activities or some emotional things which we are doing in the school, that is not possible in the online services. But by some storytelling classes and some music classes or some creativity classes, I think we can solve this problem. We can come closer to the children, and also parents will be happy that there will be a feeling that they're in the school and doing those work also, which is like we feel we do in the school generally. If the students are unable to come in the live classes, we can send them the assignments or notes, whatever is required, that through the WhatsApp in the WhatsApp group, so that they can go through with it. And my main objective is to connectivity with the children, and that is only possible and when we throw some of the classes along with the parents, that is might be meditation or exercises.
When it comes to food, you should have to be wholesome. When it comes to education, you've got to be holistic.
Take help of all the DD channels, and government should give us some kind of facilities where we can upload our materials, the videos, the audios, the recorded videos. All these things we can upload, and then it can easily be seen in the TV channels. That is one thing. And the students, those who have the smartphone, for them I would rather suggest that all the teachers can upload their teaching, their lectures, their videos before the class starts. So when they start, when they give it before, students will see it, students will watch it over, and then students can be called for discussion or called for discussion in written, or they can access different materials which will be given by the teachers again, and they will access, like the waste, what they are doing. So we can go for assignment system instead of going for examination system. Then in assignment, when they will read some original materials, some original seminal works, what they will do, they will get the joy of learning, because that joy, the joy of creation will be there, and they will read many books, and they will read. And when they will read, they will apply in their own thoughts, and which will definitely help them the joy of learning. And that is what the West is doing, and we can easily do it. And I think this COVID has given us, this COVID has made us realize that yes, we can go ahead with this. If we can adapt our online classes so quickly, instantly we had gone for online classes. Why not this assignment system? I think that will be the absolute good idea.
Sometimes students may get like monotonous watching on the online and classes assignments, and also we can give physical assignments to them, like physical assignments like gardening and some physical works. So what you do this one, and then submit a report to me, like that. They can be engaged for the physical work and all, and then they may be that gives them changes from monotonous of sitting holding a mobile and then listening to the classes, and also like we can take them to the fields also. Like everybody may be having a small garden, so we can engage them in the gardening and all. Sometimes we can ask them say like to do some other works also, some other useful works at home. And what we have done today, another teacher can get a report from the students.
CBSE has to take some decision, because the online classes is going on, so they have to think about the courses. The course they have to reduce, and this is the practical. We cannot do the practical. Practically they cannot do the students. That is what the CBSE is going to do, because I think before November the school cannot be open, and by December they have their pre-board, and March they have their exam. So regarding the practical, the physics, 15 practical, and the bio and the chemistry, all these practical they are not doing, then how they can appear in the exam? That is the CBSE market to decide. And the portion they have to reduce. And I am so happy, just I want to share with all of you that I sent one letter to the HRD ministry regarding this is to give the class 10 and 12 examination, the subject it is they have completed on this average, they should give the marks to the other rest of the subject which is not covered. And now ultimately this is the act for the Supreme Court order that CBSE is accepted. So I'm really it's a good decision taken by the CBSE and the Supreme Court, because this is at this moment after 4 months it is impossible for the students to appear the exam. So right decision they have taken. For the higher institution, when they are going to take the admission, they take the online examination, and after that they will take get the admission in the institution. So this is the thing, and this is the platform I am giving this suggestion to the CBSE to reduce the course and above the practical and about the project work, because every summer break students are doing the project of economics, sociology, geography. Now too we cannot do anything.
I've got a bag full of ideas and I'm running out of time. That white paper is really filling up. It's almost becoming a document now. Such brilliant suggestions from each of you. They'll all be documented and submitted. I thank each and every one of you for your time, your thoughts, and your insights. It really means a lot to us at EduMate. It means a lot to the Royal Global University, who've chosen to partner us in this very, very unique initiative which we're taking to the government. And it required institutions like the Royal Global University to think out of the box and support unique initiatives. So I acknowledge Vice Chancellor Sanjay Pratap Singh and his team for supporting us in this venture. And at the end of it all, I mean, since we're running out of time, all I can say is that the process has begun, and we will conclude with a lot of ideas. And it's not very far, the solutions will be coming. We have to understand and accept it's all going to be a work in progress, but the work is on. And I often say that to deal with the big C of COVID, you've got to have 3 C's. The first C is collective, the second C is be corrective, and the third C is be creative. At the end of it all, don't better educate, you'd better EduMate. Thanks for being with us. Have a good evening.